Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. When it comes to calculating your Social Security, one of the most important formulas you need to understand is this. Social Security is based on your highest 35 years of earnings. That means Social Security looks at your entire lifetime of earnings, adjusts those earlier years for inflation, and then picks the highest 35 years of earnings and averages them out. Ultimately, they total up those 35 years, divide by 420 months, and that becomes your AIME, your average indexed monthly earnings. And that number is what your monthly benefit is built on. But here's the thing, if you worked fewer than 35 years, every year you're missing gets filed as a big fat zero, and those zeros drag down your average and lower your benefit. Now you may be wondering, how much could those zeros actually affect my benefit? Is it a big dent? Is it a small dent? What are we really working with here? So let's consider it. Let's say we have a worker who's earned an average of $60,000 a year, adjusted for inflation, over the course of their career. And let's also assume they've only worked for 30 years, meaning they've got 5 zeros pulling down their Social Security record. Before the age of 60, the Social Security Administration inflation adjusts your earnings. So when we say that this worker had an average earnings of $60,000 a year, we're already accounting for that. And I do want to take a moment and pause before we fully dive into this example and take a moment to consider how claiming, the timing of when you claim, whether you claim early or delayed, affects your Social Security benefit. If this worker claimed Social Security at age 62, they'd receive about $1,400 a month. If they waited until full retirement age of 67, that benefit would jump to a little bit over $2,000 a month. If they delayed claiming all the way up until the age of 70, well, now we're talking about a benefit closer to $2,500 a month. So yes, delaying when you claim benefits could certainly pay off because it results in a higher monthly benefit. Depends on what's most important to you. But for this video, we're going to focus on something else entirely. What happens if you only have 30 years of earnings reported versus a full 35? Let's look at how much this worker's benefit could increase if they logged those additional 5 years of income, even if they weren't high income earning years. How much of a difference would it really make? So here, our worker with 30 years of earnings decides to keep going. They continue working at their average annual salary of $60,000 a year, and they replace those 5 zeros, and now they have a full 35 years of earnings to report to Social Security. This can be quite meaningful if you do this prior to the age of 62. So let's look at what kind of difference we see. At age 62, instead of $1,400 a month, the benefit would be closer to $1,600 a month. At full retirement age, that benefit would now be around $2,300 a month. And at age 70, it would grow to nearly $2,800 a month. That's a pretty major improvement, especially when you consider the long-term impact. At full retirement age, that's a $228.57 per month increase. That's a full 11.14% jump in lifetime benefits, just from replacing zeros with average income years. And over time, that can make a huge difference. Over 10 years, that's an additional $27,000 in Social Security income. Over 20 years, that's about $55,000 of additional income. And over 30 years, it adds up to a whopping $83,000. That kind of bump can really boost your retirement security. It gives you flexibility and peace of mind when perhaps you need it most. Now, let's say this person wasn't up for working full-time anymore, but they still wanted to replace those zeros. So instead of working full-time, they take up a part-time position where they're earning $30,000 a year for those 5 years. Would it make a difference? Absolutely. At full retirement age, even just part-time earnings would increase their monthly benefit by about $115. That's a nearly 6% increase from their original benefit with 30 years of income. And here's what that would add up to over time. Over 10 years, that's an extra $14,000. Over 20 years, nearly $27,000. And over 30 years, about $41,000. So even modest part-time work can end up unlocking tens of thousands of dollars in additional retirement income. And that's the real power of understanding how zeros affect your record, and how replacing them, even just a few, can pay off for the rest of your life. And remember, Social Security isn't just an income source. It sort of acts as longevity insurance. It's one of those few income sources in retirement that you can't outlive. And that's why maximizing your benefit by replacing those zeros or delaying when you claim, or both, makes such a meaningful difference. Because the longer you live, the more valuable that guaranteed monthly income becomes. And for many people, it's the foundation of financial stability later in life. And here's one more reason to aim for the highest benefit you can. Social Security gets an annual cost of living adjustment to help your benefit keep pace with inflation. The higher your starting benefit, the more those increases compound over time. The extra dollars you lock in today are more impactful in the future. Now let's take a step back and look at who this strategy helps the most. I ran the numbers on replacing 5 zeros across 3 separate income levels and how that would impact the benefit. For a low-income earner making around $30,000 a year, a middle-income earner at $60,000 a year, and a higher-income earner bringing in $120,000 a year. And here's what I found. And keep in mind, for all of these numbers, we're assuming that someone is claiming their benefit at full retirement age. Middle-income earners see the biggest jump, about $228 more per month, or an 11% boost. That's the highest increase both in total dollars and percentage increase. Lower income earners also see an increase, around $114 per month. That's a solid 8% gain. Higher income earners get a larger dollar boost than lower income earners, about $214 per month. Since higher income earners are already at or above Social Security's most important bend points, they see a smaller percentage increase, a little bit less than 7%. And here's why this happens. Lower earners are partially protected by Social Security's progressive formula, which replaces a higher percentage of lower wages. So while replacing the zeros helps, it leads to a lesser increase in total dollars. And for higher income earners, they're past the key bend points or already surpassing the point where the formula tapers off. So each dollar of additional income earned contributes less and less to their total benefit. And that puts middle income earners right in the sweet spot. Social Security still replaces a meaningful portion of their income, and each additional working year can meaningfully raise their average. So if you're a middle income earner who has a few zeros in their record and you're wondering if working a few additional years to replace those will make a meaningful difference, the answer is a confident yes. And if you're married, this isn't just about your benefit. Your Social Security record can directly impact your spouse's financial security as well. If your spouse is considering claiming spousal benefits, maybe they didn't have a sufficient work history of their own, or maybe their own benefit would be lesser than if they were to claim spousal benefits. Every dollar you increase your benefit, that increases the spousal benefit as well. And it doesn't stop there. If you were to pass away first, your spouse then would be eligible for survivor benefits. And if you have a larger benefit, this increases the survivor benefit that your spouse would be entitled to. And this gives them a higher income in the years where they may need it most. So ensuring that you're capturing the highest benefit possible not only protects you, but your loved ones as well. So if you're thinking about working a few extra years to replace those zeros, the timing really matters. If you're pre-Social Security, getting those zeros replaced, they get added to your work history and they increase your future benefit. If you're already in a position where you're claiming Social Security, it's not too late. Social Security automatically recalculates your benefit every single year, even after you've started claiming. So if you're still earning an income, you can still replace those 0 years or their lower income years with a higher income, and that can help your benefit increase. Now, if you're claiming before full retirement age, you just want to be mindful of the earnings limit. This is the threshold where if you earn too much, your benefit could temporarily be reduced, although you would get credit for it later. So in short, these zeros can be costly, but they don't have to be permanent. You can extend your work history, whether that's through part-time work or full-time work, and it can make a meaningful difference in your financial security in retirement, as well as the financial security of those you love. Do you have any zeros in your Social Security history? Would you consider working a few extra years just to replace them? Leave your thoughts in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. You need to know and then forgets what they need to say. Get fat zero. I don't know what to say. That seems very dramatic, but I have to have a good intro to make you want to watch the video. I'm sorry. I'm really not this dramatic in real life. I'd be like, make sure to get your 35 years and you're good. Okay. No, 5 years. And they continue, la 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 la. I don't know what I want to say. It's like I'm trying to put 4 sentences together in my head to make this example make sense. It's not going well. How important are examples? Pretty important, I think. I try to include a lot of them in the video. This one's not going well mentally for me. A cola. I don't even think it's necessary. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Somebody's gonna make fun of me. Does anybody remember RC Cola? Does that ring a bell for any 90s kids over here? I think it was a sign that we shopped at Sam's Club too much. RC Cola. That was what my dad always bought.